Welcome to week 4 of Burg Sports Game Day. I'll be your play-by-play commentator tonight, Gavin Race, joined with
David Brown, your color commentator.
Tonight we have a pickup game. Originally this was supposed to be Wheelersburg against Ashland. Tonight the Pikeville Panthers will be coming into Ed Miller Stadium to take on the 2-1 Wheelersburg Pirates. Pikeville has had a lot of struggles with COVID this year, canceling their game last week and having a pickup game. They completely lost out on a week 2 game, meaning they are 2-0 coming into week 4. Right. So now they're coming in with a pickup game against Wheelersburg, back-to-back pickup games, but they've been able to thrive this year. I mean, their offense has been incredible, at least.
Right. You've done all the research on them. I know you know what we're going into tonight.
Yeah, 48 points in their first game, 43 last week, or 43 in week 1, 48 last week. They absolutely trounced Paintsville, and they gave it to Lecter Catholic last week. And now coming into a really tough Wheelersburg team, it's really kind of hard to gauge what kind of game we're going to get tonight, because obviously both teams working off a short week trying to prepare for this one, because Wheelersburg originally played Ashland and Pikeville originally had a bye week coming in this week.
Oh, interesting.
So going into this game, Wheelersburg led by their supreme run game with Jake Darling, Carson Williams, Eli Swords, and Ethan Glover spearheading that running attack. It's kind of been reinvented this season, as we're starting to see formations that we've never seen before with Wheelersburg's run game.
Right. It's really interesting to see how it's grown, because usually, we've seen over the past couple of years they throw the quick guys back there, and now we're seeing more of a power, hard-hitting run game. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, you'll be seeing Wheelersburg line up in that power T and that power I look, using guys like Ethan Glover, Carson Williams, Eli Swords. They've had such success this year with that in the last 2 weeks especially. There's no reason for Wheelersburg to back away from that. And it's really started to open up the pass game, especially last week for Bryson Stamper, as he was able to find Eric Lattimore, Josh Clark on a couple receptions. He had a big week in his return. And Wheelersburg, with this game as well, they're looking to get a third win, building up to another huge game next week when they head to Jackson.
Right. We've seen Jackson play. They've had pretty good games, but Wheelersburg this week has to, get that mindset. Win this week, win next week. Maybe we can carry on a winning record.
Yeah, and there's home connections tonight, because coming in Pikeville, their offensive coordinator goes by the name of Steve Johnson, and he went to Wheelersburg. He was a heck of a player for this Wheelersburg team back in 1996. Was his senior season. Wheelersburg went 10-2. They lost their week 1 matchup, but they ended up winning 8 straight, and he was a huge part of that team.
My dad was on that team.
Yeah, he ended up going to play at Marshall following his days at Wheelersburg, and now later on down the road, now he's the offensive coordinator over there at Pikeville. And I was able to talk with him on the phone earlier before we got on the show today, and he was saying how he's excited to come back to his hometown and see the atmosphere, and he says he's expecting the atmosphere that they got for every game back then, and he says it's a tough place to play for visiting teams.
Oh yeah, we brought this up a couple times in our last game, our broadcast. Just the energy on both sidelines, especially Wheelersburg, and in the Wheelersburg stands. The Ed Miller Stadium was just rocking last week, and 2 weeks ago with the rain delay. Last week coming in, perfect weather for a football game. This week, perfect weather for a football game, nice and cool. I would expect a very big turnout of rowdy Ed Miller Stadium Wheelersburg fans at Ed Miller Stadium. And
tonight, it's a really exciting matchup of not only the guys on the field, because obviously that's where the product comes from, is the players that you have on the field, but it's an exciting matchup with the 2 head coaches. You got Chris McNamee of Pikeville, and obviously our coach Rob Woodward. And these 2 guys have done an amazing job building up the programs to what they are. I'll talk a little bit about Pikeville. You obviously know about Wheelersburg. They a couple years ago, they were numbers-wise, struggling a lot, and Coach McNamee was able to really build up their program to what it is today, and they were able to go win a couple state championships under him. And they, talking with Coach Johnson and Coach McNamee earlier, they felt like they're coming off a season where they were upset in the playoffs, and they want to come out and make a statement. And if there's ever a game for them to do, it would be tonight against Wheelersburg, especially coming on the road, considering how they're going to have a pretty good drive to come here tonight.
Yeah, Pikeville's a good ways away. Another Kentucky team, we switched Ashland for Pikeville, 2 Kentucky teams. Maybe they'll bring that same energy.
And we obviously are expecting a lot of Pikeville fans to be tuning in tonight because there's a lot of pride down there about their football team. But
right.
Before we get into our game tonight, let's talk a little bit about what other teams in the high school have done. Volleyball, another big bounce back week. They knock off Eastern and Jackson.
Jackson was last night.
Jackson, they knocked them off last night. Eastern on Tuesday night. Girls soccer beat West on Wednesday night, and it was
that's right.
Dominating win. They ended up putting double digits on the board against them. Girls tennis, they knocked off 2 of their toughest opponents in Notre Dame and Waverly. Good performances from the entire team there. And cross country, you guys.
We had a bye week.
Yeah, you guys were off, and you guys are back in action this Saturday, I believe.
Yes, we're going to Fairland. Not my favorite course, but a course where a lot of people on our team usually PR, so hopefully there's a good turnout there.
So some good rebounds weeks. Obviously, a couple teams, they had some rough starts, but they're starting to get back in the flow of things, especially the volleyball team. A lot of expectations coming into the season with a lot of seniors going out, but it seems like they're still starting to really get in a roll, and they're going to have a couple conference opponents coming up. So that's going to do it for our game preview and our recap of Wheelersburg sports. We'll be right back. We're going to have our Pick'em show where Mr. Eaton and Mr. Rucker will be joining us as our guest pickers this week. Welcome to our Week 4 Pick'em Show. Mr. Eaton, welcome back as always.
Thank you. I did not beat Mr. Skyver. It absolutely ruined my confidence, but today I bring it back.
Mr. Rucker, you got a long line of guest pickers to follow with Eddie Miller and Chris Skyver.
They got the show started right. So
yeah,
I think they've got the winning overall record. Not to brag over you guys right now, but it's up to me to keep things going in the right direction, right? So I think their overall is 18-7.
17-8, but
close enough.
Close enough, yeah.
Yes.
David sitting just below 50% at 15-16. Mr. Eaton,
it's
20.
A bounce back week for Dave.
It better be a bounce back week. I'm struggling right now.
Mr. Eaton, you are 20-15. I sit at 17 and 14.
You know, I'm gonna say this, Gavin. 20-15 is not good enough for me. I'm upset. Last week I was on the struggle bus, population Mr. Eaton. So this week though, it's gonna happen. David, it's gonna happen.
Just
stick
happen
with me, and we're gonna be all right. Okay.
Well, first game here, we're gonna start at that end of the table with David and Mr. Eaton. I'm gonna make it a little easy on you when you get to pick this game, but it's going to be Archbishop Moeller heading to Ironton tonight. David, who do you got?
We've seen Ironton play. We haven't seen Archbishop Moeller play. We've seen Ironton come away with 2 nail-biter wins. I don't think they can pull another one out of the hat. I think we're going Archbishop Moeller this week.
Mr. Rucker?
This one's pretty easy for me. I'm not ever going to pick Ronton, ever. So we're going with Muller.
This is a no-brainer. It's not only going to be a win, it might be a running clock win. Archbishop Moeller.
Wow.
I'm not going to go that far because I want to say this real quick. To the Fairland Dragons, we apologize for what we said about you guys last week. You guys shocked everyone.
Yeah, my family won't let me come back to the Dean cookhouse. I got absolutely...
You ruined your relationships.
That's true. Your roots are from Proctorville.
Exactly, and a wonderful vocabulary word for you all. I got lambasted in the family lineup, so no.
Yeah,
I apologize. You guys are a lot better than we thought.
Fairland almost pulling up that improbable upset last week, but this one is pretty easy. Archbishop Moeller is going to go on their Spectrum game of the week and give it to Ironton.
Time for a loss.
Yeah, before they go into that gauntlet of a schedule they got going against all their conference opponents. So next up, Mr. Eaton, I'm going to give this one to you because you got a little bit of stake in this one. East Clinton heading to McLean.
So the Astros versus the Tigers. So East Clinton, McLean, they're both similar styles. Ground and pound, get vertical, run downhill. However, I apologize to my McLean faithful. I do believe East Clinton will win this one.
Wow.
And I know that that's going to be rough in the McLean community, but my record means more to me than loyalty. So
Apparently.
I'm going with the Astros of East Clinton.
Wow.
What's East Clinton's record so far? Do you know anything about
I absolutely do not.
I think East Clinton is coming off a win, I can tell you that.
In my 13 years in McLean, we did not beat East Clinton very often.
Mm-hmm.
They, right next to Clinton Massey, we probably went, I don't know, maybe 3-10 maybe throughout those years. So I'm going to go with East Clinton.
My turn?
Yep.
Well, I was going to say one of my good friends. Probably go with McLean on this one.
What's sad, Mr. Rucker, is
I'm all about my record too.
I know.
I need to keep the record alive here. So I'm going to go East Clinton as well.
I have an uncle named
And I don't have any faithful in McLean that I really need to worry about, but
well,
my friend,
the head coach for Greenfield was a kid that I coached, so he's gonna text
oh
me
man,
right after
you're
this.
just making a lot of people mad.
I know,
every week.
but I'm sorry, Jake.
Oh, that's
but
funny.
winning matters to me.
David?
I have an uncle named Clinton, and he's a really good guy, so I'm going to go with East Clinton.
All right.
Yeah, I'll be going with East Clinton
Across the
too.
board.
I like you said, I looked into the matchup history, and it's not been favorable
McLean's
for.
more of a basketball school traditionally.
Yeah.
So.
Which someone's got a little bit of history there, but.
Of losing.
So next we got Jackson heading to Western Brown. Mr. Rucker, I'm going to give this one to you first.
This is a tough one. I don't know much about Western Brown, but I think Jackson's got a pretty strong team this year, and traditionally they're always pretty tough. So, and me being from Gallipolis originally, playing Jackson, they were our rival, so it's really hard for me to pick them. But again, I'm going for my record here as far as improving it to 3-0 this week. So I'm going to go Jackson beating Western Brown.
And I'll go Jackson as well.
I'll go Jackson running clock.
Yeah, I'm going to say Jackson. You can't pick against a team that held the best team probably in this area to 7 points before.
And they fumbled inside the
Tragedy.
10-yard line
Exactly.
to give up that 7. Yeah, I think Jackson wins like 42-7.
Yeah, Jackson's defense is going to come to play because Coach Andy Hall really knows what he's doing up there.
That being said, we better be ready next week, right?
That's true.
Right.
Next we got Lucasville Valley heading to Beaver Eastern. I'll go ahead and take the reins on this one. I think Valley goes up and wins.
I'm going to go with Valley too. I'm going to go with Valley. Close one.
Close.
I'm going to go with Valley. I think it'll be a close ball game, but I like to stay with our league anytime they're playing against anybody besides us, so we're going to go with Lucasville Valley.
I'll go with Valley, and not because I've seen the Seahawks or anything. not because of any football intuition.
Algorithm or...
I
You
just
have no prior knowledge.
He knows more about Valley, I think.
I know more about the cross-country course at Beaver Eastern, and I really don't like that they have a hill right there before the start.
You know what though? The Eastern Beaver people are tough. That's why. You
tough.
You got to toughen up.
Next we got Northwest heading to Oak Hill. Battle of the Hills last week. I believe Oak Hill came away with the win.
No.
Rock Hill did.
Rock Hill won.
So
Rock Hill won.
Oak
That was
Hill's
one
beat.
of my wins, very few.
So, Mr. Eaton, who you got in that one?
Now, I do think this one is an actual pick-em game. I really do. I'm going to go with the Mohawks. Little upset. I'm going to go with the Mohawks on this one. I think that Oak Hill struggled of late, so I'm going to go with Northwest.
Not so fast, my friend. You don't know about the power of the Oaks. I'm telling you right now. My wife's from Oak Hill, so I'm going to go with Oak Hill. I'm not going to say running clock, but I think the Oaks pull it out.
Okay.
Last week I said I really liked Wood.
And
That came back to bite me.
It did.
It did. So
Just
I
repeated it this week.
I've got to go with Northwest. I have to keep away from that nightmare that I had.
Okay.
I'll be
Just had again.
That we just had again. Yes.
I'm actually going to go with Mr. Rucker here. I think Oak Hill wins. The way I'm going with it is I'll just pick the home team because I really can't separate those teams.
Yeah, I agree. It's close. It's close.
Now, teams that you probably could separate, they're going to open their conference play. Portsmouth heading to Rock Hill. Mr. Rucker, who you got in that one?
Man, this is I don't know that I can ever pick Portsmouth, so it's a tough one. I'm going to go with Rock Hill. I think
Rock Hill.
Yeah, the home team, they're playing at Rock Hill. We're going to go with the mighty Rock Hill
Redmond.
Yeah.
Not the Rocks, but
Yeah.
David.
Rocks would be a pretty good name. Portsmouth beat Deer Park last week.
Yes.
And Portsmouth worked out for me, so I'm going to go with Portsmouth again.
Trojans by 10.
I'm going to say Portsmouth wins. Their defense has been a pleasant surprise this year, and I think it's going to stick around for however long until they play Ironton.
You got to appreciate Mr. Rucker for going against the grain, though.
That is true.
You got to appreciate that.
Next,
Not going to win, but you got to appreciate it.
next we got.
said by a guy. What's your record again?
20-15.
And what's the overall record of the guest pickers?
17 and 8.
Okay, just
I'm
saying.
3 behind. I'm
Yeah,
catching
saying.
up. I'm catching up.
Next, we got West heading to Wellston. West coming off a huge win over Adena. I think Coach Gilliland gets their second win. I think they knock off Wellston. Not big, but enough to where they can feel comfortable.
I like Portsmouth West in this one as well. Close one, though. I'd say 6 points, but I like Portsmouth West. Coach Gilliland gets the second win. You're happy he got his first. That's big. When you're a first-year coach, it's tough when you go weeks without a win, and I was really happy for him. So I think he's going to get another one.
I agree. I think Portsmouth West is headed in the right direction. I think Coach Gilliland has them, in the right direction. I think their first loss to Fairland was a really tight ball game. I think week 1. So they got the pieces, to do a lot of good things. So I'm going to go Portsmouth West.
Looks like West is going to sweep.
All right. Next, we got Zane Trace heading to Piketon. Mr. Eaton, I'll give you this one. And Piketon's been nice to you the last couple 3 weeks.
Look, I might wear a red streak shirt next time. I feel like they're my guaranteed money maker. Quarterback from Piketon is amazing. Piketon with another win, notched it in my belt.
I want to hear Dave's pick. Yep.
Well,
Because I'm really thinking Piketon at this point, but I want to hear, you probably have
my
some good
algorithm is saying Piketon, so I'm going to go with Piketon.
Where is Zane Trace located? Do you know?
No, I have no idea.
Kenny Kinnick. Trivia. Kenny Kinnick. That's what it's
I've
called.
been there once or twice,
Well, you probably
actually. Yeah.
been running down the road across country.
Never gone that far.
I'm going with Piketon, too. They're rolling right now, and I think until they run into someone...
I think when they play Paint Valley, Uniota, one of those two teams, that's where it stops. But I do think they win this one. Which one do you
I think they get it.
Sweep across the board. We're going with the Piketon Red Streaks.
All right.
Emily Good.
That's right.
Red Streaks.
Before we get into our last high school game, we're going to get some NCAA college off the board here. First one we got tomorrow, big noon football. Oregon heading to Ohio State. I have a good feeling where everyone's going with this one, but
Well, I'm going to give it to Mr. Rucker because I actually think he's going to be in attendance.
Bucks versus Ducks. I will be there.
Yeah.
My kids will not. But yes, I think you know who I'm picking in this one. We're going with the Buckeyes.
Give me the score. I want to know the score. If we get the score,
Actually, I'll give you this.
we get an extra point.
Whoever gets the score closest will get an extra win.
Okay, that's perfect. Oh, I like this.
I think the Buckeyes are going to come out a little bit better this week as far as they've got that road test at Minnesota. C.J. Stroud playing quarterback. I feel like he's got a little bit of experience under his belt now. He's thrown a pass in a college football game, so
Yes.
I feel like he's going to be a little bit better. They're playing at home. I think Oregon's got a legit top 10 team. I think their defensive end, though, is out, so I think that could hurt them if he's out with the ankle injury. So I'm going to go Bucks 42, Ducks 21.
42-21.
High scoring affair.
High scoring.
Good choice.
David, what do you got?
Of course, I'm going to go with Ohio State, just because my dad actually did attend Ohio State, and so that's cool. If I remember right, wasn't this the matchup when Ohio State won the national championship a few years ago?
Yes, it was.
On that note, I again go with Ohio State.
What was
What's
that
the
score?
score?
What's the score?
That score, Mr. Rucker knows it.
What was that score?
I know that they beat Alabama 42-35, and I think that the Oregon score might have been
Very similar, but
42-21,
yeah, I think it
42-28.
was 42-21.
So
But I don't
let's
know.
repeat that score.
So yeah, if we repeat that score, you get an extra win.
Well,
If you
I-
get-
you're going
I mean-
42-21. It's the same as Mr. Rucker. You're going boom on the nose.
I mean, let's go for it.
All
go
right,
for it.
Mr. Eaton, who you got?
Buckeyes 45-28.
45-28. I'm going to go with Ohio State wins 31-10. I think the Ohio State defense shows up and blows everyone out of the water because all anyone can talk about is how the Ohio State defense struggled against Minnesota. They're back to full strength in the secondary. I think they come out and they really shut down the Oregon offense.
And my response to that is prove it, because I haven't seen it yet.
I think they can do it.
I can't disagree with you there, Mr. Eaton. I think
I
it's
have to
time they've
see
got to.
Next week we got Mizzou, or tomorrow we got Mizzou heading to Kentucky. Kentucky had a big win in week 1 with their new quarterback Will Levis back there, and we got a lot of Wildcat faithful that are probably watching. So,
He's the guy from Penn State, right?
yep.
Oxford.
So,
Yeah.
David, I'm going to give it to you. Who you got in this
I'll
one?
go with UK.
Kentucky.
Me?
I'll go with the Cats on this one. I think that, is it Stoops? Coach Stoops?
Yep.
Has them- I think they're up and coming. I think in the last few years they've really gotten a little bit better each year. They're known for basketball, but I feel like they're slowly making strides in the right direction as a football school as well. So we're going with UK.
This is the one where winning doesn't matter to me. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot stand Kentucky. There's nothing about it that I like. I
I think this is a basketball beef.
I just don't like Kentucky.
That's okay.
So because of that,
Guard, but I picked them.
and I apologize to all my Greenup County friends that love Kentucky. Joe Hayden out there, your dad. You even named your dog Patino. I'm going with Mizzou just because.
Just because.
Yeah, not so fast, my friend. I'm going with Kentucky. I think their offense has just been rolling in that week 1 game. They're going to continue week 2. Kentucky big. Speaking of big wins, Marshall knocked off Navy last week.
No, they
Blew
didn't
'em
knock
out.
them off.
Blew
Like
'em out
they
of water, didn't
they
they?
let
Blew-
them have it.
I listened to a part of that game on my way home from the River Days parade.
Yeah, I heard they might have gotten a call from the White House saying you can't disrespect our troops like that, but they're coming in to play North Carolina Central this week, and they're an FCS school, so
I mean, I'm going with Tom Valence's Marshall Thundering Herd and my Uncle Steve's Marshall Thundering Herd and my Aunt Teresa's Marshall Thundering Herd by as many as they want it to be.
We are Marshall. I'm going with the Herd.
I'll give this one to my good buddy Chanston Bryant. We're going Marshall.
I think Marshall comes away sweep. They're going to sweep with us, and they're just going to end this game early. I feel like
think they'll be in the top 25 before the end of the year. I do.
I think they'll get up in there. So, me and David will take our step back now. This one's up to you two. We got the Pikeville Panthers heading to Ed Miller Stadium tonight, play the Wheelersburg Pirates. Mr. Rucker, take the stage on this one.
Do we have any headgear to put on? Like
I wish we
Gameday?
did.
We need to.
I wish we did.
I can run in my office.
We need to find the pirate head because right now would be the perfect time for either Mr. Eaton or myself to put on the pirate head because
true.
we're winning this one. It's time. I feel like we're on a roll. I feel like last week's game was just the start, and each week our kids are getting a little bit better. I like the momentum. I like how Coach Woodward and his staff, the direction that we're headed in. We got a lot to look forward to, and we're just going to keep getting better. And I think I've heard good things about Pikeville. It'll be a good challenge for us as far as some of their skill players, and I think they've got some size, but I think we're up to the task. I really feel good about our kids and coming together and staying together and getting better each week. And this is just another notch in the ladder. So, go Pirates!
Go Pirates! All right.
We want to score?
No, I don't think we can. I don't think we can do that. Not as a.
But we do need a Pirate head.
We do. And next week, that's your job.
All right.
So Pikeville, 5 state championships. One of my really good high school friends, Steven Johnson, coaches there. Played basketball with him in high school. You played basketball against him. 6'5", unbelievably athletic kid growing up. Really be good to see him and part of his team as an assistant. Mm-hmm. They're loaded. They've got a ton of talent. They got really pretty colors. They're from a nice area in Kentucky. And no, Steven Johnson, I will never pick the Pikeville Panthers over the Wheelersburg Pirates. It's domination time. It is domination time.
It's time.
It's time to get in that stance and start knocking some heads. Go Burg.
Well, we're getting closer to kickoff here. Appreciate you joining us, Mr. Eaton, Mr. Rucker.
On the show. Yeah.
We'll be seeing how you did after we got our games.
A lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure. So
I'll be checking the world-renowned COPS for my score. But I do want to say one thing before you get off here. The band, they were really, really, really good.
Sound awesome.
Last weekend. They just keep getting better as well.
Shout out to Mississippi.
For sure, yeah.
And the cheerleaders in the end zone, it's just a cool look. I like it. I know they're a little bit further away from the crowd, but I like it. But our band and cheerleaders are amazing, and there's a lot of people that go into making a wonderful atmosphere for high school sports. And other than Jared Shaw, everybody does a great job. So just really, really happy with the band, the cheerleaders, the team, and not Jared Shaw.
It's nice to go to games and have that game atmosphere, isn't it? So, yeah.
So that's going to do it for our pregame show. I'm Gavin Race.
I'm Mr. Eaton.
Dave Rucker.
I'm David Brown.
We'll be right back with kickoff coming up. Pikeville Panthers, Wheelersburg Pirates.
Go Burg.
Go Burg!